to call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council, Tuesday, January 17, 2017. Can I please ask everyone to rise for a moment of silent prayer? Would our clerk please lead us in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this public meeting has been made by sending notice on December 23, 2016 to the record and by positioning on the bulletin board of the lobby of Borough Hall and filing a notice of the same with the municipal clerk. I'd like to remind everyone there are 3 emergency exits in the council chamber, 1 in the rear and 2 on this side. Roll call, please.
Councilman Axel?
Present.
Councilman Bartolome?
Here.
Councilwoman Sweet? Here. Councilwoman Davis?
Here.
Councilman Papaloni? Okay. I don't know why.
Councilman Capoleo is here.
Here. Can I please have a motion to approve the minutes of the Mayor and Council sign and die and reorganization meeting of January 2nd?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I please open to the public for any comments with regarding the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anybody have any question or wish to make a statement regarding any specific agenda item this evening? There will be another opportunity to address the council later in the meeting. Mr. Zemedies?
All right, folks. Joe Zemedies, representing River Ridge PBA, Local 401 President.
Sure.
All right. Mayor and Council, as you are aware, there's an ordinance on the agenda this evening regarding the police table of organization. I'm here today to represent the PBA as the president and discuss the PBA's position in regards to leadership within the police department. This is not something new. The topic has come up several times in the past under different mayors and councils. Last came up just prior to our past contract negotiations when Council President Papaleo was our liaison. The conversation was started about the locals' feelings that the captain's spot in our police department should be filled, and it seemed like an appropriate time to do it. With an ever-increasing population in town, new, larger, and more frequented businesses, an increased workload, and heightened security in the post-9/11 world in River Edge and in our bordering towns, the police department is now generating over 10,000 calls for service a year, over 125 criminal complaints, over 2,000 motor vehicle summonses, and multiple arrest warrants. Along with the calls for service is the responsibility and time factor due to the complexity of the nature of calls we respond to and the expectation of service that our residents deserve. To give it some history, the department, as you are aware from the table of organization, consisted of a chief of police, captain, 2 lieutenants, 5 sergeants, and 12 patrol officers. Over the years, the Mayor and Council, many of you who are sitting up here today, have been proactive in adding additional patrol officers to the ranks, which has enabled the chief to create a traffic bureau, which has proved to be an asset to the Mayor and Council and the Traffic and Safety Committee. What has not happened, though, is an increase in supervision within the department. One of our biggest areas for liability in the police department is the lack of continuity and supervision. By filling the captain's position, you will create efficient and streamlined supervision within the department. We'll offer a clear line of succession in the absence of the chief. On any ordinary day, if the chief is unavailable for a variety of reasons, there are occasions where Lieutenant Walker is in charge, occasions where Lieutenant Napperstack is in charge, and occasions it is just the tour commander on the road in charge. While Lieutenant Walker may be the de facto second in charge by being the senior lieutenant, each division commander is capable of running their respective divisions, and it can make for difficult situations where one lieutenant is telling the other lieutenant how to run his division. By filling the additional rank, you are filling a post where when the chief is unavailable, the captain will be in charge and can direct both lieutenants. In reviewing supervision of police personnel, part of the reading list for the last promotional opportunity for sergeant, Chapter 2 discusses line organization, where I quote, authority is definite and absolute. Quick decisions can be made in the line organization because of direct lines of authority, and because of these direct lines, each member in the chain of command knows to whom he is accountable and who is accountable to him. Blurred lines create problems within a department. Problems in a department generate grievances, lawsuits, and unfair labor practices. There is a term known as unity command that is discussed in the reading, which should be practiced in every organization. The principle requires that every employee should be under the direct command of but one superior. When operating officers report to multiple supervisors, it begins to cause friction and undermine the authority of the main supervisor. There's a diagram which I can distribute to you from the reading, which shows clearly defined chain of command with the chief of police as the head of the agency. Below the chief are captains, followed by lieutenants, sergeants, and patrol officers. Currently, the chief is endorsing the position of the administrative sergeant. The job responsibilities of the administrative sergeant are the same responsibilities that a captain once held in this very department. When Chief Storres took the reins of the department, for whatever reason, and with whatever issues may have been going on at that time, he elected not to attempt to work with the mayor and council to get the captain spot filled. Instead, he filled it with an administrative coordinator who was a civilian. Chief Caridi and I are in agreement that the position was not effective due to the lack of supervision and direction powers, the ability to implement and enforce policy, and the lack of authority that the position should have possessed. Chief Caridi had a hard enough time when he first became chief to get the lieutenant spots filled by the mayor and council that to get a captain was absolutely off the table. The administrative responsibilities that the chief has outlined are currently divided up among the two lieutenants, which is taken away from their main focus and responsibility of investigations and patrol. By filling the captain position, you will allow that person to assume those responsibilities and allow the lieutenants to return to their main focus, running their respective divisions. Each division has generated additional work due to our additional calls for service and responsibilities to the community. This position will also allow for the expansion of the additional services that we have undertaken. Lieutenant positions were not intended to be administrative positions. They were meant to oversee the different divisions in the department. Captain was the administrative officer who dealt with department training, purchasing, budgeting, maintenance contracts, other record-keeping and administrative responsibilities, as well as acting as a liaison between the division commanders. The captain position answered directly to the chief. If the two lieutenants are responsible for these administrative responsibilities, they are now working out of rank, which is a cause for concern. Captain would also be responsible for cultivating an environment that would build morale and a spirit de corps in the department. This is extremely important, especially in a department of our size, in order to foster a good work ethic and good work product. When morale is lacking, members tend not to want to be as proactive or in some cases seek other employment. Lastly, to make a politics parallel, a clear line of succession will allow for continuity and adherence to policies and procedures in a consistent manner. A clear example of this is that the state of New Jersey felt it was appropriate to create a position of lieutenant governor, in charge of the state when the governor is out of state, incapacitated, or not available. This post is responsible to follow the lead and support the governor's policies. Only if the governor and the lieutenant governor are unavailable would power and authority be granted to the Senate President, and if he is unavailable, the Assembly Speaker. Let's bring it back to River Edge Police Department. The Senate President is Lieutenant Walker in the Criminal Division, while the Assembly Speaker is Lieutenant Naparstek in the Patrol Division. We are missing a clear and defined line of succession of having somebody in the Lieutenant Governor position, which is what the Captain's position will offer. There is also cause for concern that by amending the table of organization, it would be violating our contract, as the Captain's position is currently encompassed in our contract. Recently, an article on NorthJersey.com cited an Englewood Cliffs PBA and their mayor and council entering into an agreement about removing the deputy chief's position from the table of organization through agreed-upon terms. The PBA is not looking to add additional personnel. We are merely looking for a necessary supervisory position to be filled with the current manpower that the department has. This position, the captain position, would decrease blurred lines of authority, create consistency and stability in the chain of command within the department, increase accountability of members, and decrease the potential for grievances, lawsuits, and unfair labor practices. I look forward to seeing the discussion move forward in promoting a captain and have full faith and confidence in this mayor and council that it can be accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zewedis. Does anyone else have any comments? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close, please.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to go to nomination to fill the council seat. Madam Clerk, will you please read the letter from Marie Papaleo, Chairperson, River Ridge Democrat Political Party.
Yes, the letter states the River Edge Democratic Political Party, after a meeting, would like to submit the following three names to be considered for the replacement of the council seat vacated by Ms. Kathleen Murphy. They are in alphabetical order. Dario Domingo. Do you want the address on the record?
No.
Okay. David, I'm not even gonna try. Kasich and Kenneth Crowdheim. Respectfully yours, Marie Papaleo.
I only see one of those three people here tonight, but is someone going to make a nomination?
I would like to make a nomination that we appoint Dario Canigo to the vacant seat.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Councilman Estrada?
Yes.
Councilman Malone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Steve?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman, who are you?
Papaleo.
Papaleo.
Yes.
Motion carried. Congratulations, Dario. Okay, now the Bible, on your right hand and repeat after me. I, Dario Canigo, do solemnly swear
I, Dario Canigo, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the
of
Constitution
the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and I will bear
true faith
true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I, Dario Canigo, do solemnly swear
I, Dario Canigo, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all of the duties
all of the duties
of councilman
councilman
for the Borough of River Edge
of the Borough of River Edge
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
This is it. We have a wingman.
Mary drew the short straw, Dario.
I know. You better be nice.
Now you want
You're not swimming. You're gonna go swimming? She's doing swimming like.
Have a seat. Congratulations.
Councilwoman Davis, you need to, excuse me, would you like to just make a couple, do you have any comments for?
Dario?
Yes.
Very happy to have you sitting next to me.
Thank you.
I hope you talk to me.
I will.
And I wish you a lot of luck. I think you'll be in good hands having you.
I appreciate it, and thank you all for the opportunity.
Good evening, Councilwoman.
Yes.
See you.
I have to leave. Sorry. I couldn't do anything for them anyway, so I have to recuse myself.
Yes, welcome, Dario. It's a great responsibility, it's also a great, at least I think we would all say it brings us great pleasure to be able to serve our fellow constituents. And, you know, I always remind myself, I look around these walls and there's only 20 people up here or so who sat in this seat in the last 100 and something years. and there are probably no more than 100 who filled this seat over the past 100-plus years. So it's a rare and unique opportunity for you to, have your mark on how this borough develops. And it's a role I know we take seriously. Sometimes we haven't always had that in the past, but I'm sure that you will be diligent and a conscientious member of the council, and we look forward to your input.
I look forward to it as well. Thank you.
Any other council comment now, or we can speak later? Later. Well, we have one proclamation on tonight, declaring January 29th through February 4th as Catholic Schools Week. Mr. McCarthy here. And I'll read our proclamation. Where St. Peter Academy plays an important role in our community by furnishing our leaders of tomorrow with basic human, moral, and spiritual foundations. And where St. Peter Academy strengthens community and nation by keeping viable the right to freedom of religion under law. And where St. Peter Academy is intended to fulfill the threefold purpose of message, community, and service. And whereas the NCEA, the National Catholic Education Association, has declared the week of January 29, 2017 through February 4, 2017 as Catholic Schools Week in the United States of America, with the theme being Catholic schools, communities of faith, knowledge, and service. Now therefore be it resolved that I, as Mayor of the Borough of River Edge, in recognition thereof, do hereby proclaim January 29th through February 4, 2017 as Catholic Schools Week in River Edge, New Jersey. And witness thereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the Borough of River Edge to be fixed as January 17, 2017.
Eric, you're the boss.
And you are? Michael McGrady Ewing? Kevin, and David? Kevin McGrady Ewing. That's it. Congratulations. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. First picture, please. Thank you very much. Thank you,
And I am one of these families where we have one child who is Catholic and one who's Republican. And I'm proud to announce my son now is looking at 3 different grades of Catholic high schools. He's in St. John's Regional, St. Peter's Prep, and Don Bosco. So, and so we're strong supporters of Catholic schools in the area, and we're controversial, we're public, and we really appreciate the
And we just say, thank you.
Just making an announcement this evening that I'm appointing Anita De Silva and David Bradley to the Mayor's Business and Economic Advisory Committee for 1-year term through December 31st, 2017, effective January 18th, 2017. Appointment of personnel changes. Can I please have a motion to approve the hire of Jessica Teresita Varon, part-time hourly circulation assistant in the library at an hourly rate of $11, effective January 9, 2017. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I please have a motion to approve the appointment of Naomi Gervitz to the Traffic and Safety Committee to fill an unexpired term through 12/31/18, effective January 19, 2017?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is Ms. Gervitz here?
She's not able to.
Okay. Can I please have a motion to approve the appointment of Anne Marie Rudis to the Traffic and Safety Committee for a 3-year term through 12/31/19, effective January 18, 2017?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I please have a motion to approve the salary change of Eric Phillips, tree trimmer 2, in the Department of Public Works, from an annual step 2 salary of $55,276 to step 3, $55,671, effective February 2nd, 2017.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have various pieces of correspondence that are on file with our borough clerk. They're listed in the agenda if anyone is interested. We also have on file monthly reports from the library board for January 2017, fire prevention October through December 2016, planning board for November 2016, and the zoning board of adjustment for April 13th, 2016. We have three ordinances on the first read. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance. Actually, I am going to recuse myself from the first one. So, Council President, would you?
Sure, no, I'm good here. I can work for you.
Or need to?
No, it's just no. Madam Clerk, would you please read ordinance 17-4 into the record?
An ordinance amending an ordinance entitled Police Department of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey.
This amendment describes an amendment to the police department table of organization. In it, the new organization would be, if I'm correct, 1 chief, 0 captains, 3 lieutenants, 6 sergeants, and 17 police officers. For the general public, this does not mean that we will necessarily be hiring these, but we have the ability to hire up to this level. Is there any discussion or debate? Seeing none, we need a motion.
So moved.
Second. Actually, I was supposed to call for debate and discussion at this time.
Yes.
My mistake. Any debate or discussion? No? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Frida?
Yes.
Councilman Barloni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deedy? Yes. Councilman Camino?
Yes.
And
Councilman Papaleo, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ordinance 17-5, Madam Clerk, please read it by title.
Bond ordinance to amend section 4 of the bond ordinance 1787 entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the making of public improvement and the acquisition of new, additional or improvement equipment and machinery, new information technology equipment, new communication and signal systems equipment, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment in by and for the Borough of River Edge and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $350,000, to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriations, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
That's why I made her read it. This is just a typical bond ordinance, and it's for purchase and installation of software, hardware, and equipment, among other things, to implement e-ticketing for the police department. This is on first reading. Can I please have a motion to adopt ordinance 17-5?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Frida?
Yes.
Councilman Barloni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deedy? Yes. Councilman Camino?
Yes.
And Councilman Papaleo?
Correct. Yes.
Both these ordinances will be listed for public hearing at a later council meeting. Ordinance 17-6, Madam Clerk, please read by title.
An ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cash bank for the calendar year 2017.
This is something we annually do. As you may or may not be aware, the governing body is limited with caps on our appropriations and also a cap on our tax levy. But this year, the state of New Jersey has said that if we do not adopt a cap bank, that we are limited to a 0.5% increase in appropriations, which is probably next to impossible for us to actually implement. On the flip side, I think the state is not very wise in giving the upside of 3.5%, because I think to make a town have a choice between 0.5% and 3.5% it's not a good practice. And basically what you do is you get benefit by staying under 3.5 but above the 0.5, and you can use that to offset the caps. It's to me, I've said it before from here, it's almost like a shell game. And if the state was serious and they want us to hold to true caps, they should make us hold to true caps and not worry about these cap banking, and you can carry it for 2 years and whatnot. But as a practical matter, we need to do it because, like I said, the 0.5% would just not be realistic at this time. So that is why we're introducing this ordinance this evening. Can I please have a motion to adopt ordinance 17-6 on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fredo?
Yes.
Councilman Barone?
Yes.
Councilman Steve?
Yes.
Councilman Chino?
Yes.
And Councilman Papalayo?
Yes.
And like I said, this will be, we'll have a public hearing on this adoption of this ordinance at a later council meeting. And we have one ordinance on for second reading this evening. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance 17-1 by title.
An ordinance to fix the salaries, wages, and compensation of the officers and employees of the Borough of Riverhead in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey for the year 2017.
And this is our 2017 salary ordinance for our Public Works Department. Can I please have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 17-1?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Does any member of the public have any comments or any questions regarding proposed ordinance 17-1? And this has to do with Department of Public Works salary for 2017. Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the hearing on the public?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I please have a motion to adopt 17-1?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fredo?
Yes.
Councilman Barone?
Yes.
Councilman Steve?
Yes.
Councilman Chino?
Yes.
And Councilman Papalayo?
Yes.
Ordinance 17-1 is adopted. Ordinance 17-2, please read by title, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to fix the salaries, wages, and compensation of the officers and employees of the Borough of Riverhead in the County of Bergen and the State of New Jersey for the year 2017.
And this is a similar salary ordinance. This is for our non-contractual employees. Can I please have a motion to open public hearing on ordinance 17-2?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would any member of the public like to make a comment or ask any questions regarding proposed ordinance 17-2, salary ordinance for non-contractual employees? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I please have a motion to adopt ordinance 17-2?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fredo?
Yes.
Councilman Barone?
Yes.
Councilman Steve?
Yes.
Councilman Chino?
Yes.
And Councilman Papalayo?
Yes.
Ordinance 17-2 is adopted. Ordinance 17-3, Madam Clerk, please read by title.
An ordinance to fix the salary, wage, and compensation of the officers and employees of the Borough of Riverhead in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey for the year 2017.
And this again is a similar ordinance, but 2017 salary ordinance for our police department. Can I please have a motion to open to the public?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any member of the public wish to make a comment or ask a question regarding proposed ordinance 17-3, our 2017 salary ordinance for the police department? Seeing no one, can I please have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And can I please have a motion to adopt ordinance 17-3?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fredo?
Yes.
Councilman Barone?
Yes.
Councilman Steve?
Yes.
Councilman Chino?
Yes.
And Councilman Papalayo?
Yes.
On our consent agenda, we have resolutions by consent. Resolution 17-58 and 17-72. Would any member of council like to pull up for separate consideration, discussion, or vote any of those resolutions? If not, can I please have a motion to adopt those resolutions by consent?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Will our Finance Chair, Councilman Barone, please read and move Resolution 17-73, payment of the bills?
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas vouchers for the payment of goods and services rendered to the Borough of River Edge have been received, and whereas each bill has been checked by the receiving department, approved by the Chief Financial Officer and Borough Clerk, and reviewed by the 3 members of the Finance Committee, now therefore be it resolved that bills as listed now be confirmed for payment from the appropriate funds as follows. Current account, $4,810,577.99. Recreation account, $685.
Trust Other Developers account, $1,030. Trust Other account, $18,299.12. Open Space account, $24,835. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Can I please have a motion open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anybody like to ask any questions, make any comments on anything that's on your mind? Yes, okay. Just,
I'm not gonna have to.
now, name and address for the record, please. And speak loud enough so Stephanie can hear you.
I'm sure they can hear me. I'm 81,741 Avenue. I think you were to take into consideration what the police department was talking about with the captains. I remember when it happened to them, when it changed and how much had to be changed. And I think that the town of the bridge was shocked if we would not have a captain as well to help when there was sickness or anything and what have you, as well as many things that happen. You know, you can't, I only know that our police department does a fantastic job, but I would like to think that you're going to take it into consideration, that should happen. Because if our police department is asking for it, you know that it's good, because they never come and ask for anything that isn't good for the town. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
Hold on. Becky Keener, 445 Windsor Road. I just like to talk just for a minute. I attended a PTO meeting the other night with Dr. Randall of the Board of Education. And she had mentioned that, well, they want to build a parking lot. That's a separate issue that we can talk about, I'm sure, at some other point. But they had talked about resizing the fields at Cherry Hill. So I wanted to just find out for recreation where that money's going to come from and what the planning with that, because Tova seemed to, Dr. Vendrell one side, seemed to indicate this was kind of a done deal, like this was happening and people really could not really do much about it. But this was what had been discussed, and there was going to be a resizing of the fields, and the recreation had committed to do certain things so that this parking lot could be built. So I just wanted to get a general idea of what, I mean, you know, you're getting so much information from one. I just wanted to get what the deal is.
I don't believe the two issues are mutually inclusive. One was not done for the other. The issue with the field goes back to do with maintenance and also the size that it was not constructed to spec when they built the school.
Okay.
It's something that's been in front of the Rec Commission for quite a number of months. And at this point, I don't know whether it's been budgeted for because we haven't set our 2017 budget yet. If Councilwoman Bastuda or Councilman Bartoloni have both been part of the, they can comment on.
Yeah, any change to the field size was going to have nothing to do with the discussion of the parking lot. That had come about because the field size was constructed improperly in the first place.
Okay.
And it was to also help with some maintenance issues to make sure that that field was better maintained for better usage. But they're not the same issue.
So whether the school pursues parking, I think the intent would still be to resize that
Correct.
field.
Yeah, because she seemed to indicate that they wouldn't be able to, I'm sorry, she seemed to indicate the PTO meeting the other night that they wouldn't be able to build the parking lot because of the size of the field right now, because you wouldn't be able to play on.
No, they're talking about reducing the size of the infield.
Yeah.
Because
Right, yeah,
the
I
play
know,
area was
90
too
feet
big.
field now, and it needs to be 50 feet.
Yeah,
What's that plan for?
Yeah, the infield as it's currently situated is just too big. That field, from what I understand, is usually used for Little League from 1st to 3rd grade. And so the infield's just too big. And the only reason it was going to be brought in, like we said, nothing to do with the parking issue.
Okay.
It was just to make it fit those age groups.
Okay.
And to redo it, because as anybody who's gone through there knows, it's a weed field by the end of the summer.
Yeah.
So the field needs to be dug up and redone to eliminate that problem. And in doing that, it was just going to make it conform to the age of the players that play on it.
Okay, was there consideration to whether it would be able to be played on for softball as well? Like, it won't have a mound, right?
I don't think so. I think it'll keep its current configuration. Whether or not softball ultimately play on there,
Right.
I don't,
the field schedule.
yeah, I don't know, that's a
That's
field scheduling issue,
Up
but,
to the rec commission.
yeah, but my understanding won't have them there.
Okay. And then to the second part of the question of the parking, the reason that they want to build a parking lot is specifically there is a lack of parking. Now, anyone who's been near Cherry Hill in the morning knows that there are congestion issues sometimes, but as someone who lives very close to schools and walking distance, there is a lot of parking. Dr. Rendo discussed the issues as to the parking on Wayne Avenue, and that right now it's currently, no parking from 9 to 2. I'm assuming for when commuters are parking down there. So they talked about just liaising with the mayor and council on the parking issues and lifting some parking restriction issues around the schools to ease the parking issue. The only, one that you would be able to, obviously do anything about, most of them are no parking zones in terms of tollway and the safety of the curb and things, is on Wayne where there's no parking from 9 to 2. So, a lot of parents in the audience in the evening thought that perhaps it would be a good idea to do some sort of a permit curbing directly for the school through the mayor and through the town, so that you could, the police obviously wouldn't be ticketing teachers with parking decal through the school on Wayne Avenue during that time.
That concept has been explored. There's been various opinions as to its legality, whether we can do that. Truth be told, the school is severely underparked. They have many more employees, i.e. teachers and people in the building, than they have parking spaces. It's a problem that's been going on since they built the Newbridge Center.
Yes.
And we can all point fingers back then and say they should have anticipated it, and they should have, and we'll say that, but we have to deal with the problem.
Yes.
Now, I don't believe there would be enough linear curb face on Wayne to make a significant difference in terms of number of spaces. But that being said, we've been talking to the school, at least my last year as mayor, on a host of issues. I know the parking becomes an issue because wherever you move it, it's like anything else. It's like water. You block it one way, it finds somewhere else to go. And they had teachers parking on, what's the street? June Court. And the people in June Court weren't happy about teachers parking there all day.
Right,
And then,
there's no ordinance there that says that they can't park.
no, but it becomes a quality of life issue to some people
Right.
if they can't get to their houses. So you just relocate the problem to other areas. And the way with the drop off down at Newbridge, which I used to do, I mean, if I had lived over there, I don't know how happy I would have been not being able to get in and out of my driveway when people were blocking to get in to drop the kids off at Newbridge. It's a complex problem. Whatever the school does on their property, that's the school's decision. That being said, and I told Dr. Vendova, they're aware of it, that they would still have to come to the planning board for capital review. The borough cannot stop a project. We cannot stop a capital project. All we can do is offer them suggestions, recommendations, non-binding. It's not a borough project. We have no jurisdiction.
That's based on schools as much as churches, temples, defined as an inherently beneficial use of the land, and therefore they're exempt from certain zoning and planning regulation, and it's a courtesy submission that they make to the planning board. And then, as Ed just finished to say, we may offer a suggestion to that architect and engineer to perhaps improve. Thank you, Ed.
Yeah, thank you. I refrain from calling it courtesy. That's what vernacular calls it, but it's not. It's actually a capital review, and the land use law specifically states that anybody who spends public money must have a public hearing on a capital project. Because in my day job, we come across a lot with different agencies, and they like to call it a courtesy, meaning as if they're doing it as a favor to us, and it's not. They have to do it. They have to present the case, the application. But like the councilman said, we're only entitled to ask them what they're doing and ask questions of their experts and make recommendations, again, which are non-binding. And if it goes to that point, then that's where they would have to come.
Just that being said, I think if the Board of Education came to this body with some ideas as to how we could help them, I'm sure we would be glad to do that. As of yet, we haven't gotten any proposals from them, but if they come to us and they have some ideas to which we can help, I'm sure we're all very willing to work with them.
I had suggested to Dr. Bendov, and I know they've been working with the traffic person, they've been working with their architect.
Yeah.
And I had suggested at one point that they do need to bring Chief Purdy and PD in, because to me, the traffic issue, from my perspective sitting here, is a bigger problem than the parking issue. Because the controlled chaos, if you want to call it, down that end of the street at 8 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, does need to be improved to whatever extent we can, because it's challenging, to say the least. But the discussions have been ongoing with the district, and they'll continue.
Thank you.
Yes.
I forgot at the last meeting.
Name and address for the record, please.
Harrisburg line 749 Central Avenue. I forgot at the last meeting to thank the fire department for coming around with the Santa Claus truck. And it's so nice to see all the kids run out, and be happy, and they give up a day of their time. And I think it's very nice. They do it every year, and I hope everybody appreciates it.
I think we do. I think the residents appreciate it. Like you said, it's just fun watching all the kids on the block race out of the house when they hear the fire truck come.
They're all happy when they come
Yes,
around.
and we're very appreciative that the fire department does do that for the residents. Anybody else? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close, please?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Council comments? Councilman Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. On Friday evening, many of us were lucky enough to attend the Woodward Volunteer Ambulance Service installation dinner. Thank you for inviting us. It was wonderful to be there, and I just want to congratulate all the past officers and the teachers, the current officers that were installed, and all of the service year award winners. We are very, very fortunate in River Edge to have such a dedicated group of volunteers here to protect us. So I want to thank them for their service. And just a word about our newest fellow councilperson, Dario Canigo. I'm very pleased that you've joined us. You took a different route, but I'm very pleased that you're here. Having gotten to know Dario over the course of the election, I can tell all of you on the dais and in the public that we are very lucky to have a person of his caliber and dedication join us, and I know he'll be a great addition, so welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Councilman Bartolone?
Thank you, Mayor. Also, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll do swimmingly up here. But congratulations for being here, and I look forward to working with you over however long you may be here, but definitely over
Feeling
the next year.
Thank you.
Just a report in, I guess, on some committee assignments. The 4th of July committee will be meeting next week, I believe, to start our preparations for the 4th of July activities. We did have a meeting of traffic and safety last week. They presented me with some things to go over, particularly a 19-point list, I guess, that they were given of projects to review. So I'm digesting all that information and bringing myself up to speed on that, as well as it was discussed the placement of those current speed signs, the ones that say thank you. They seem to be working out extremely well, particularly the one on Continental. You could see it in the morning because I live there. Everybody's they hit their brakes and reducing their speed, so it seems to be very effective. We talked about additionally looking to put in 3 more of those signs throughout town, particularly on Bogert, the northern part of Bogert. The exact location hasn't been defined yet, but there was a resident who was complaining about traffic on the area of Bogert between Continental and Midland. So that may be an area for future study. that may need to be there. And also, this was a project, I guess, that was undertaken, and it was asked that I investigate, was a crosswalk at Wayne Avenue. I guess that might have been under some prior study. Just maybe at some point somebody can bring me up to speed on that as to where that is. I was asked to follow up on that. Beyond that, I will just address briefly, I guess, the table of organization for the police department, as we still have a lot of police officers here. Obviously, there's a disagreement, I guess, from the PDA in terms of whether or not to retain the captain's position. As a council person, you get into a position where, listening to the PDA, or, you get a differing opinion from, obviously, the chief as to what the table of organization should or shouldn't be. I think the current ordinance that we just proposed tonight is an effective compromise in that it does add the capacity for an additional supervisory officer as a lieutenant, so it increased the number of lieutenant positions available from 2 to 3, and it also did add an additional sergeant's position from 5 to 6, while also maintaining the complement of patrol officers at 17 to try and strengthen the police department at all existing levels. Now, whether or not we fill those seats and how we do it is not just, is also obviously a budgetary concern, whether or not, you have the money to fill all those positions. But I think that the current ordinance meets, what the goals set out before us from the chief are, and just keeping in mind that the captain's position hadn't been filled for over 20 years. So there was some precedent of that seat not being filled. But I do think the current ordinance, is a good ordinance and a good compromise between the positions that we were given from the PDA and also from our chief of police. So that's why this far, it's gotten this far. So that's all. So I'm done. Yeah, that's it. Have a laugh.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Dario Chinigo on becoming our newest council person in River Edge. I know you do a good job. I also know Dario and his wife Beth, and I think they'll add a lot, and they will bring an effective work ethic and a great deal of knowledge Dario will bring. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. A couple of things. I also would like to say the REVAC dinner was a great event to be invited to again, and it was wonderful to see the past and future officers and those for service awards. It's amazing how much our volunteer ambulance corps does. They do so much, and some of the members have gone on more than 150 calls in 1 year, and we're honored for that, or right around 150. So that is extraordinary. They get out day and night, and they reach and they show up. And I'd like to thank our police department and fire department. They also mentioned that for always supporting the River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Corps, especially when there's snow. The fire department shovels away to the house during snowstorms, and the police department assists in transporting whoever might be ill out of the house and then over to the ambulance. So our police and fire department do a phenomenal job with our River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and we are very lucky to have all of them. Having said that, I also would like to just finish with Beautification, another volunteer organization that does a really great job, and our residents are always complimenting them. So we met, even though there's not much to beautify by way of plants in January, we met on January 12th, and the new chairperson elected was Michelle Caridi. The new vice chair is Karen Sabatello, if I said her name right, and the secretary is Greg Caridi. A couple of things I just wanted to bring to the council, and I've actually already done this, but
wanted to do it during the regular meeting too, is the beautification is going to request $5,000 for sprinklers at Cherry Hill. Cherry Hill is our newest park, and it suffered greatly last year in July and August, and it was very difficult to maintain the control and the watering of our plants that we've invested in, and so they're going to be looking for that either from open space or capital, if possible, given all of the constraints that we normally experience. The council's, beautification's also going to reach out to Ellen and to the council via their secretary, if they could change their quorum to 5. I believe their current quorum right now is 1/3, and since they have up to 25 members, that quorum becomes a difficult number to reach. They've decided not to do the plant sale this year because there's too much competition. Everyone seems to be doing a plant sale. It seems the school is doing a plant sale, and so many other organizations. And one of the ideas that they're going to, again, be talking to our business administrator and the council, is the idea of a tree farm sale. We have trees that are now somewhat mature, particularly button bushes and cherry maples, I believe they're called. And so they were thinking that in addition to using these trees around town as needed, that they might sell these trees for a price that would be less than the fair market, but enough to replace both the container that they're in the ground, the dirt, and the seedling. And it sounds like a good idea. They're going to be, exploring the viability of it with first the business administrator and then the council, just as a general discussion. And that's it. I also mentioned to the council during a budget committee meeting, and I'd like to just mention to the public now that I met on December 21st with our Superintendent of Public Works, John Lynch. Spent about 2.5 hours, 2 hours maybe, discussing his capital budget proposal and his salary budget proposal. And I just want to compliment John Lynch again for being so incredibly professional and hardworking, as well as all of our DPW workers who make a great effort to make River Edge a home that we're proud of. Thank you, Ray.
Councilman, Article 3.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Dario.
Thank you.
The last thing I knew was another Italian on the board. But I want to pledge that I will not be talking to him in our native language, so everybody will understand what we're trying to do and say here. But welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I did not attend the ambulance installation dinner. I was about 4,500 miles away, but I did send some good representatives, and I did get some great reports about the venue, as well as the great spirit of voluntarism. I don't know if that word exists in English, but then again, that was in their room and throughout the event. I do want to comment about the proposed police chart. I do agree with Councilman Bartoloni that it is a good compromise. But I also want to make sure, I want to thank Joe Zemaitis for eloquently and clearly illustrating the position of the PBA. And I also want to make sure we all understand that I'll be closely watching this as it develops over the next year. Because to me right now we have a Christmas tree that's got a section missing on top. And being an architect, I like to see things in a proper geometry. So I'll certainly be interested in the reports that our liaison will be making to us. Because the last thing I need is that I start hearing from the rank and file about possible confusion. Because confusion leads to mistakes. And you guys cannot afford to have mistakes. So that's all I'm going to say. And Happy New Year to all. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Chenega.
Thank you. I'll be brief since I'm new and this is my first time up here, but I'd like to begin by thanking the mayor and council. Thank you to the council for voting me in. I look forward to working with each and every one of you across the aisle, next door. It doesn't matter. I'm here for the good of River Edge, and I look forward to doing whatever I can and working hard for everybody here. I'd like to thank Marie Papaleo and the Democratic Committee for putting my name up. The voters of River Edge who voted for me last time around, and everybody here for coming tonight. And I look forward to the next several months of working hard. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. And I don't, you were here at reorg, so I don't recall exactly what your liaison assignments were, but I believe it was library and score and was historic.
Yes.
But Stephanie can actually get you. It wasn't in the meeting list and all of that
Sorry.
stuff. Yeah, I'll just echo the comments on the Rivas dinner. It's always a great event for us, and I do want to show, Councilman wasn't there, and Councilman, that we were awarded an appreciation award by Rivas with sincere gratitude for your invaluable and steadfast support so we can render needed care and life-saving services to the communities we serve. So we appreciated getting that from them. I believe Donna Sandy said there were over 600-something calls last year. And I made the comment that night, I make it anytime I talk about our emergency services, is that it's something that most people don't think about day to day, and thankfully most people never have to call on you folks. But like I have mentioned on numerous occasions, that I personally had to have people come to my house at 2 o'clock in the morning to bring me to the hospital. I've had the police at my house, and I've had the fire, thank God, for a false alarm. And there's nothing more satisfying when you know at 2 o'clock in the morning that when you call for that help, that there's somebody here, and somebody who knows your town, and somebody you may even know personally. So we always owe a debt of gratitude to everybody, whether this is your career in terms of police officers or volunteers in terms of the ambulance or the fire. It's something that we need. It's one of the most important functions that local government provides, and we're always going to stand beside and behind our volunteers and our police because it is something that's crucial to a well-functioning and a high quality of life. So we thank you for that. We also had another where I failed to mention it last month that Councilman Christine had represented the borough on. We've gotten a significant recognition for silver level recognition from the State Routes to School program. River Edge, I believe, is the only municipality that got silver in Bergen County, and this was the award we had received. The councilman had asked that we invite the chief and the crossing guards for special recognition to a future meeting. So Stephanie, if we can arrange that maybe for February or March, I think that's something that I think the council would be in support of doing. Regarding beautification, I had a brief conversation with Michelle Caridi after the reorg, and one thing I talked to her about was setting up a meeting between herself and representatives from the mayor's economic development committee and the chamber, because she had some good ideas and they had some good ideas about how we can aesthetically improve, particularly the Kindergarten corridor. So I think putting all these people together to get and coming up with ideas to see what the business owners want, how they can help, I think that would be a very positive step.
If I may just interject there, there was a discussion, a lengthy discussion at Education about, Michelle shared some of those ideas, including doing pots with evergreen plants that would beautify the area. And in discussion, it was decided that in addition to coming to that committee, they need to just speak to the DPW, because the whole question of how big would the pots be, and right of way, and public safety, and talk to maybe police and traffic about that too. So they're working on that. I want you to know that.
Yeah. And there's other areas of Kindergarten that we could certainly clean up. We talked about some of those areas, so I think it's a good discussion to have going forward. Over this past snowstorm, we did receive several complaints from residents who were towed about what was deemed to be excessive charges. The complaints were brought to the attention of Chief Caridi, who's charged under our ordinance for investigating these claims, and we expect the chief to look at those and hopefully report back to the council at our work session next month and see whether any action need to be taken in terms of our current ordinance as it regards to towing for snow or during snow events. And I'll reserve comment on that to a later date. Lastly, I had failed to mention at the reorg, I wanted to publicly thank and acknowledge John Felice, who served 2 terms as freeholder and previously, I believe, was 2 terms on the council. He always represented River Edge with the highest degree of dignity and respect. I think we would all agree on both sides of the aisle. And I would ask the council to consider having the former freeholder come in for a recognition. We can give him a certificate or a plaque or something in that regard. I think it's warranted for his years of service to the borough, on the planning board, as councilman, and then as freeholder.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I need to reach out to Mr. Police and see if he's available in February, March, or whatever is convenient to him. I think that's all I have for tonight, so if there's no more business, can I please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.